I was
Headache.
guilty of like, let's go the easy
Yeah.
option. I'm like, let's press the easy button on this one. And I
Yeah.
mean, this is like to talk about that. Like, this is why you work with partners. Like, this is why you have two or three heads in the game.
Welcome to another episode of the Refined Real Estate Podcast. Manny here with my co-hosts Ian and Janelle. In this week's episode, we gave you guys just a quick update of what's going on in our lives and also a few pretty important tips that I think any new investor would really enjoy learning, and just it's good for them to hear. Before we get into it, I just would like you to please go to YouTube, subscribe, like, and comment. Go on Apple Podcasts, go on Spotify, wherever you're listening to us, and give us a 5-star rating. It goes really far. We would really appreciate that. Also, Ian and Janelle are mortgage brokers with the Blake Wilson Mortgage Group. Three of us have bought and sold over 60 units. We've wholesaled, we've flipped, we've done a whole lot more, and we're going to do a lot more. And we'd like to educate you guys along the way and see a glimpse into what it's really like to be a real estate investor in 2023. All right, guys, I just wanted to tell you a quick funny story about how this podcast saved me a lot of money. So I was driving home from the gym maybe 2 weeks ago, and there's this one stretch on the highway where it goes from like 60 to 80. But I was like in that little section there where I normally go 80, to be honest with you. And there's also a section there where like, there's usually a cop just like chilling. But I was driving, and I normally have music playing, but I didn't have any music playing. It was just dead silent. And you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about our podcast. I was just thinking about how we could make it better, topics we could talk about. And it was just going through my mind. And there was probably like a 2-minute window where that's what I was thinking about. And normally in this stretch of the highway, I would be going 80, and I might be looking at my phone, changing the tunes. So I'm breaking two rules at once. In that exact moment, I take a look to my right, and who's there? Three cops. Three cops right there. So if this was a normal day and I was not thinking about our podcast, I would have been pulled over. I would have been in a lot of trouble. But I was fine. And I thank our podcast because of that. So I would like to start off our podcast just thanking us for being here and doing what we're doing.
And if you're listening to this while driving, just check your speed, just real quick.
Yes, and I don't condone texting and driving. I don't condone speeding. Keep your eyes on the road. But we're just being real here. This is just what what life is like. But anyways, what about you guys? What's going on? What's new? Janelle?
Man, busy. I'm just like, what's new? So tons of stuff. Ian and I will get into it. We've got some exciting news about one of our properties. So that's pretty awesome. A couple changes there. And I think this will be a good like sort of illustration of how you pivot in real estate and like reevaluate your goals. So I think that might be applicable to a lot of people out there. To be honest with you, I've been busy with the mortgage brokerage side of things, which I'm pretty pumped about, having more clients coming, and I'm kind of at the point where I'm starting to juggle things and like reevaluate like who I can take on and where to prioritize things. So that feels pretty good. Have a new career starting off. But no, things are good. I've just been working through the Waverly project. That's the duplex in the south end, just on a little bit of a, I don't want to say like a hold up, but like a slow kind of hump to it. Just getting some electrical work done, sort of managing that, getting like, I actually have notes here in front of me. This might be helpful to some people out there, but I was supposed to get like an electrical scope. And me being someone who's not the absolute expert in all things like renovations and contracting, that's definitely Ian's area of expertise. So I was just speaking with the contractor and the electrician, and they're like, hey, like you're the owner, you need to call Nova Scotia Power, get a scope. And I'm like, sounds good. I'll call for a scope. And like I call Nova Scotia Power, of course, talk to them, like, this is what's happening. We're adding a second meter. Just to clarify, like we're adding that second meter to split up the units. No electrical upgrade needed. That's important here. But anyways, I called. They're like, no, you don't need a scope. And they start asking questions about like, do you have a dual gauge meter? And I'm like, I have no idea what that is. Thank you very much. So anyway, we're back to electrician contractor, and I was like, hey, like I don't know what I'm asking for here. They're like, no, like call. You're the owner. You have to get a scope. So I'm like, okay. So I call back a second time, wait on hold, Nova Scotia Power, go through the same process. And then I'm like, it was kind of funny because it was like a Friday and I was in a particularly cranky mood. So I was just like what is going on? Like, they're telling me to get a scope, but Nova Scotia Power's like shut me down 2 times. And I know they've changed some of like their processes for like what's required. I know they kind of change things up quite often. Anyway, so long story short, end up calling back a 3rd time. I'm like, listen, help me out. Explain to me like what's going on. And then I actually just called my contractor and got them in on the call. And then it was good because we just did a 3-way call, clarify that there is no scope needed. So for anyone out there who is doing renovations and you are splitting a meter up, I wrote down the steps to it. So basically what you do need a scope. I've got my notes right here. You do need a scope for when you're adding new lines. So for example, maybe you have a semi-detached house and it's like one PID, or I guess it would be a duplex, but it was like a side-by-side duplex. One of the houses where like the lines are going to either side, then that's a situation where you're probably adding a meter that's not like right next to the other one. So if you're adding more lines to the building, that's when you need a scope. Or if you're upgrading your panel. So I think that was sort of like the miscommunication on our part, because we're adding a second meter and it's just like right beside the old one, getting a dual gauge meter. The steps go: create your service order number, call Nova Scotia Power to get that, give that number to your electrician. Then the electrician has to call in and they book the Nova Scotia Power truck trips. So they have to come out, disconnect the lines, and then reconnect them after the electrician's done the work. And then they need that service order to take out the electrical permit as well. And basically, Nova Scotia Power inspects it. Once that's all good, they'll reconnect the lines. And then Nova Scotia Power installs the meter. And like, that's it. So anyone out there who's struggling like me on that stuff, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that saves you 3 calls to Nova Scotia Power. So that's what's going on over here.
Nice. Yeah, and NS Power can be tricky too.
Oh, brutal.
And again, like, because it's like one of those things, again, ever changing rules, some that are so specific, some that are like, you'll only hear about it one way and this is how they do it. Then you have your contractors that have only done it a certain way, or like have on another project done it one way. And then to try and be that intermediate between your contractor, NS Power, you can get pulled in a bunch of different directions, and you can end up calling them multiple times. So yes, that's very much so a thing.
But
cool.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Ian? What's going on?
So again, I don't have to tell you, but we've been very busy with the stuff down in the States. So meeting with property managers quite a bit on our current projects. Again, new things that you don't foresee coming up all the time. Plans changing and pivoting. So it's, no surprise there. Stuff that we've witnessed here. So it's no surprise that down there,
anything that you want
stuff.
to get into? Because like, I'm not part of the US stuff, so I think I'm kind of a good person to be like, ooh, like tell me what's going on, like what's happening there, like what sort of stuff are you guys pivoting on or adjusting?
So just like things, so we went down there, and we verified information as much as we could. But having said that, some of the rents were off, and not just in a negative way. So our property managers went in, were trying to collect rent and saying, hey, you owe $850, and they're like, I actually owe $925. And then it also went the other way where some was off. So we did our best to trust but verify, but even there, I guess there's just another layer of due diligence that we could pour even that much more so into. So that's one. Then in terms of filling the units, it's we knew it wouldn't be as easy here. Like here you can post pretty much whatever price you want on whatever unit out there, and
Speaking of, I've been seeing people post 2 bedrooms, unfurnished, utilities not included, in Halifax for $2,200 today.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, multiple.
Downtown? Or like, where was that? Where was it?
North End.
North End.
Oh, wow.
23. That's crazy, man. My rents are way low. Or 22.
2,200, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like I'm renting furnished 2-bedroom, utilities included, for $2,800.
Yeah.
I was like, man, maybe I should be taking the furniture out. Like,
yeah, that's insane.
No.
Yeah, I'm at the call with Nat. Jeez.
Yeah. So again, it's different problems in different areas. So here, yes, the cost to get into something is quite steep, and obviously the tenancy laws are quite steep. But we do. Everyone up here is holding a golden ticket when you do have a bedroom for rent. So yes, we are. We went down there. We shot high on our rents. Our property manager said, "Let's shoot for the moon out from the beginnings, just sort of test out where the market is." And now it's coming down to more or less in line with what we were hoping for. So yeah, to not have 70 different people apply for your vacant unit, it's like that's just a change. And again, we knew it would be like that. We have a much higher vacancy written into it. So again, that's interesting. But yeah, we just got a call actually a few minutes ago from, or our property managers did, where there's a hospital that's like brand new, gorgeous hospital, maybe a 2-minute drive from where we purchased the building, and they want to do some shorter term rentals with us. So they're asking if they can take 2, 3, 4 of our units, and just now have more shorter term nurses stay. So that's a very new development. So we're certainly going to dive into that a little bit further, and we think that could be a really cool way for us
Do you think you would do that furnished or not furnished?
So again, we're maybe an hour or two since that phone call or from that email. So we're now just diving into it. But yeah, it's super interesting. Could be something that we're certainly keen to do. So I figure, once we get on the call with them at length, if they can guarantee more of these contracts and we furnish it, we could probably get some really nice pricing from them. So
yeah.
Yeah. So nope, super keen on that. So that's the current building, and then so that's taken a good chunk of the time, but the other chunk of the time is certainly raising money and refining our projections and our pro formas and everything on the new deals that we have under contract. So yeah, still very much so in a buying phase down there. But again, their own unique challenges compared to what's up here. But a lot of the big annoying things that we're seeing is not there. So
yeah, no, it's pretty sweet. No, I hear you there. Pretty much everything that you told me, just right there. Like you said, it's not new to me. we've been talking on a daily basis about all our endeavors down in the States, and it's going pretty well. All things considered. We just bought 24 units. We have 38 units already fully funded, and then another 38 units. We'll probably have that fully funded within the next couple weeks here. So big
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's going well. Big expansion mode down there. And then after that, I think we talked that we're going to just take a small break and just make sure we have all of our systems in place to kind of oversee everything. And because if you're just buying and buying and buying nonstop, problems will occur. You need to, It's not even so much like we wait to buy again until everything is stabilized, but just until all of the systems are in place. So like today we had a meeting with our buddy Tim. He's going to help us with the CRM just to make sure when we have bigger deals coming our way in the future, we have things set up where we're not scrambling last minute to raise all the money, where we can constantly reach out to people on a regular basis, letting them know what we're doing, newsletters, videos. So they're just, they're up to date. And then when a deal does come towards us, then, okay, we're ready. Like these people have been seeing what we've been doing. And then, yeah, it'll be much easier in the future. But besides that, one other thing for me is I closed on the building that I was selling. So it was pretty nice.
I was just going to ask you what's going on with that one.
Yep. No, I went and picked up the check. They misspelled. My mom was on the mortgage with me, but so like they misspelled her name on the check. So I couldn't go deposit it. And then I had to do a little rigmarole to kind of get them to fix that. And then, yeah, no, got it. That was a fat amount of money to hit the accounts. Feels pretty nice. Paying off lines of credit. Oh, man, that feels good. That feels good. Just watching those numbers just turn into a zero. Even though it's going to be brief, I'm going to use it again real soon. It's still nice in the moment.
Absolutely.
But yeah, those are the biggest things in my world right now. Just I'm happy to finish that off. And then, yeah, I'm heading down to a Wealth Genius event this weekend. Just doing an Expand conference. I'm graduating, I guess what you can say. I finished my mentorship program. Yeah. This is probably the best, better than my nursing degree, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy about that. But Yeah, that's what I got going on pretty much.
Is
Anything
that's
else?
not the first building that you sold, right?
No, no, I sold one in December here too, just last year too.
Yeah, you sold like one of your triplexes, yeah?
Yeah, fourplex,
Yeah.
fourplex.
Fourplex.
Yeah, I've been just selling one off a year. You know, it's funny. Someone actually hit me up yesterday on my Instagram. She's like, "Hey, can I find someone to buy like one of your buildings?" Like, she must have just like looked me up and saw that I had a triplex, and she she asked if she could list it for me. And I'm like, "I'm not really looking to sell right now, but I appreciate the hustle." And then me and her
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually went out to we had coffee, and this is the I want to talk about this, man. Networking. You can't stop networking, man. This is just a
No.
beautiful thing. Just from my 1 hour conversation with her, you know, she brought me, you know, another 22 units here in Halifax, just off market. Like, of course, I have to run the numbers on it, but you don't, I would have never come across this. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
also like a hotel. She's like, we have a hotel off market if you'd like to buy it. I'm like, how much? She's like, 20 mil.
how,
All right.
20 mil.
how
But
big? Wait, how big is the hotel?
I'm not sure how big it is. It's near the airport, and
Okay.
it's
Those are all pretty
net
big.
income is about 2 million. So I'm like, okay. I just quickly checked to see like, you know, what cap rate that was. So it's selling at a 10 cap. I'm like, okay, that's I don't know anything about hotels. You know, I've
Yeah.
listened to some podcasts, so that's something I'd have to kind of dive down, but that's kind of
Yeah.
cool. I would have never met this girl, and I would have never not learned about these 22 units or this hotel if she didn't take the initiative in reaching out to me. So I don't know if she listens to our podcast, but shout out Nicole if you are listening,
Yeah.
and hopefully we can buy both of them if
Yeah.
the cards align, the stars align.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah, the
perfect.
networking is good. I think like the struggle that I've had with networking, and maybe this is just because like I'm working as a mortgage broker now, and I think it's just hard to like balance your time between like the networking where you're gaining some and like the networking where the other person is gaining some more.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that. Like I want to make sure I say that like kind of nicely, but
No, you're
um
right. I feel you big
so
time.
I feel like sometimes you do networking and then you like at the end of the week you're just like I feel drained. I you're just like what even what even happened? I mean that's like the I think like the theme of this podcast, like the honest truth about like what's going on. Yeah, that's the honest truth.
I mean, we all value our time, right? It's like I've had quite a few people just reach out to me and they just want like pretty much it's like a free coaching call. They just want to jump
Yeah.
on a call with me and pick my brain and learn as much as they can, which it's like it's fine. Like I don't mind doing that every now and then, but we're busy people. And sometimes I think back to myself, like when I first started, how many people, you know, gave me those free hours, you know, and just taught me some stuff.
100%, yeah.
And I
That's what I was
appreciated
gonna
that.
say.
But at the same time, how many times did I like reach out to people and I was willing to pay for their time? You know,
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
what mentorship is. Like I paid, you know, good money to be taught. So there's a fine line. There's a balance there, especially like Janelle, where you're talking to people constantly, pretty much guiding them within like the mortgage brokering world. Like they're gonna hopefully be your client, but if they're not gonna be your client and they just want to get on there and just learn about everything that you know,
Yeah. A funny
it's
aside with
draining.
like the mortgage broker side of things is how many clients will be like, yeah, I'm speaking to you and I'm trying to get the best deal. And I'm also speaking to this other broker over here. And I'm also speaking to my bank. And I'm like, nice. Good to know.
Awesome. Yeah.
But I don't know, to be honest with that, like if people I always say to clients, like if you're talking to other people, that's fine. Please let me know so we don't take your application to the same bank that you're dealing with. And if we bring our application in and we present it in one way, and you know you're presenting it in your way, then we can kind of have a little collision here. But at the end of the day, like I truly believe that like the value that we're bringing is a niche in our field, and the Blake Wilson Group are truly experts on the investor side of mortgage brokering. And I don't think there's other brokerages in Halifax doing the same thing. So I just believe in our value. Like I don't really have too much of, maybe I'll eat my words, but I don't really have too much of a problem of people going to other brokers because it's like, listen, like you're not going to get the service there that you're going to get here. That's the truth.
100%.
Sweet. No, that's true.
Yep.
Um,
So then I guess another large update for us, and again, a segue in from you selling your building. We've actually decided that we are now shopping around our 8 unit in Dartmouth. So
nice.
again, it's just crazy to see juxtaposition between our building that we're now, I guess that's the other big thing. We completely are done one of our building, just waiting for our final draw on that, which appraisals
Yeah.
are all done. So life's good there. Where we have one project where we bought them similar times. One project's completely done. The other one, just so many hiccups along the way that, if the order was vice versa and we started with the other one, like, we would be so discouraged in the real estate world and all this. Not to say that our good one didn't happen without its problems, but we decided that it's just
Yeah,
not
just
not really the way we want to go.
yeah, and just like I was mentioning earlier, sort of like pivot during the times of like looking at where we're at, like what our goals are now versus what our goals were like a year and a half ago. And that's where I had one person ask us, like, hey, like, why are you selling? And it's like, I know for Ian, your big focus is on the US. Like, you guys have so much stuff going on there right now, and your potentials down there are so much higher than like one single 8 unit in Halifax. And for me, as I mentioned, like I've been focusing on the mortgage broker side of things. And then also like I have my own projects that I'm doing personally. Like I've got my duplex that I'm working on. And I think that's, as you do more real estate investing, you figure out like what you like and what your niche is. So that's where we just kind of had a moment where we stopped and thought like, okay, like where are we going? Like, does this align with our goals? And the answer was no. So it's like, well, let's exit, pass it off to another real estate investor. And there's huge upside with it. And the price that we have in our heads is taking everything to account. So yeah, I think that's just kind of the cycle of real estate investing.
Absolutely. And so again, nothing's official on this. We only decided, what, 2 days ago
Oh, pretty much.
or
Well, yeah,
yesterday or
everything has been
something.
moving pretty lightning fast on it, which is, yeah, pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Ian
Yeah.
called me and told me, and then like an hour later, he's like, "Yep, we probably have an accepted offer." I'm like, "What
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
hell?" That
Yeah.
was
yeah,
fast.
Yeah. So that's a funny story with that one too. But
We're
yeah.
not
Shall
gonna.
we?
Are we
yeah,
gonna tell it or no?
I I think we
Yeah,
can.
come
Yeah,
on.
please do.
Yeah. So again, doing this as long as we have, and again, some people listening know that, like, we live and breathe this stuff. We host networking events, every month. We have like a weekly meetup, as well as we're networking, as we were saying, with other real estate investors in the area. So when we decided to sell, we were like, well, no, there's no way we need to put it on the market. That'll take a long time, blah blah
Yeah,
blah. It's
I
a
was I
headache.
was guilty of like, let's go the easy
Yeah.
option. I'm like, let's press the easy button on this one. And I
Yeah.
mean, this is like to talk about that. Like, this is why you work with partners. Like, this is why you have two or three heads in the game, because you have one person saying one thing and then you have to stop and think, and it's like, wait, no, like that is a good idea. So Ian was like, why don't we shop this around a little bit, and then like you can.
Yeah, then I text like four people and like literally, like, it was like, hey, I'm looking at some of my units buildings, like, you interested? And it was every single one of them responded in like 2 minutes, like, yeah, absolutely, send the numbers, yada yada yada. So I was like, oh, that's too easy. So when you know the right people, like, you can get stuff like this done. Not that it's a done deal, but it's, it took no time to drum up some interest. But I also reached out to one of my realtor buddies, and I said, hey, just so you know, like, we haven't done much together, sales and buying wise, but I said, just so you know, I am thinking about doing this. So if you know anyone, like, let me know. And then didn't he go and say, listen, I've got a buyer for the approximately the price that you guys want. Like, let's get you guys to sign some offer papers tonight, and like, here's what my commissions will be and all that stuff. And then I was like, okay. And then come to find out that it was one of the guys that I had already texted. That was his who his buyer was going to be. So then we connected the dots, and then the original guy I texted, and we were texting like, hey, wait, like, he was like, is this the same deal? I was like, yeah, it's the same deal. So needless to say, we were like, as much as we like the realtor, we were like, we don't need a realtor to do this stuff. Like, we bought
Yeah,
heaps
it's just
of
like
deals
where.
off market, we
Yeah,
sold. It's like, and it would have cost about 20 grand or so, just like off the price for maybe 3 phone calls,
And
by the
I
realtor.
have no problems with realtors at all. It was just in this specific case, it's like, where's the value that you're providing? Like, the
Yeah.
buyer's already been found. We've already connected with the buyer prior to speaking with you. Maybe it would be a different story if like you messaged him and
Yeah.
then you messaged him after, maybe. But because Ian was working on this behind the scenes, and I'd actually like walked to the bank and sat down on my laptop and like saw a couple messages, and it was like, hey, like we're sending you a DocuSign, and I open it up and it's like the client agreement, or at least like I was reading the first page of like the seller's agreement or buyer's agreement, whatever. And then I was speaking to Ian about it, and I was like, wait, like what's going on? Like, so you found the guy, but the realtor is working on it too? And I was like, walk me through this one. Like,
Yeah.
wait. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
The
I
guy
mean,
that's buying it was probably like, man, I got 16 units coming my way out of
Yeah.
nowhere, like for a
Yeah.
good deal. He was so happy. And then he's like, this is too good to be true.
Yeah.
This is the same deal.
And that's kind of where we connected. And then it was all laughs after, and
yeah.
no hurt feelings and all that good stuff.
But
But
like, man, kudos to him for like swooping in and just being
yeah,
like,
trying,
sign
yeah.
this, sign it right now. And so like, I'm like, I totally respect the hustle. Like, good for you. I'd be doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
he's a good guy. That same realtor actually helped somebody buy one of my previous buildings. So
yeah.
I'm sure that
So it's
guy's
not all
listening to
bad.
this. He'll know. Whoever, if
Yeah.
he listens, he'll know
Yeah.
who he is.
He
And
Yeah.
1,000,000% knows.
yeah,
But
shout out to that guy.
Yeah.
yeah, but again, and like, who knows? Like, although I do know the guys wanting to buy it, say that falls through, it's like, hey, we'll go right back to them and say, hey, if you have another buyer, like by
100%.
all means, it's like, again, not against realtors or anything. It's just it also helps to just know people and network, and it's not a big city, and it wouldn't take us long to track down who are the active buyers right now for that type of property. So yeah, another benefit to networking. It's like, that just saved us 20 grand. So
Yep,
Perfect.
yeah.
exactly. All right. Thank you again for listening to another episode of the Refined Real Estate Podcast. Hopefully, you enjoyed this episode today where we talked about networking. We gave quick updates on our US stuff and my sale, and then hopefully Ian and Janelle's soon sale that's coming up. Once again, please like and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening. And don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. We're all very reachable. We're just a DM away, an email away, a phone call. Even though we did talk about our time being valuable, we also value you guys and we will give you our time. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.